Mark, how are you?
Jamie, is that you? I feel like I haven't seen you in such a long time. What have you been doing?
Well, I broke my arm. Just living in the eighth dimension.
Hmm.
What about
So
you? Let's talk about it. What have you been doing?
same stuff, just self-isolating, living in my own fantasy,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
uh, hallucinations. I don't know, like just really normal things. It is a new year. I mean, every day just merges into the next, and eventually you just kind of lose track of everything. And I didn't even know today was, or whatever, even what day is today, Thursday.
Today's Friday, I believe.
Is it
Yeah, I think so. Today's Friday. I didn't know when Valentine's Day was, and that's what day is
Sunday?
that? Sunday.
Sunday.
The day of the Sabbath. Your
Yeah.
favorite day.
Yes. It is the day of rest in some religions. Is it
Yeah.
Sunday the beginning of the week, or is it the end of the week? We've rebranded. So I think it's going to be a really exciting year.
Tell them
And
what our rebrand is like.
okay, so, well, me and Jamie were thinking when we started out this podcast, we were like, okay, we're going to be we're going to be very structured, very like, we know what we're doing. But if you know us in real life, you know that we're literally out of control. We have no professionalism whatsoever. And so we're going to be just winging it. And we're not going to be focusing too much heavily on the paranormal. I mean, I think it's going to just be in our everyday conversations. And but we're going to be talking about, I don't know, like things that we're into while doing like paranormal investigations. So we can talk about 80s television commercials while we're, you know, exploring the murder house.
Yeah. So bottom line is this. Mark and I cannot read and we can't read a script. So I don't know if you guys noticed this, but so what we do is we're like, what kind of cool thing do we want to talk about next episode? So we'll come with a what is that called?
An idea?
An idea. Okay. We'll come up with a theme and we'll do our research on it and then we'll kind of like go from there. So we'll have our whole thing written out. So then it's time to film and one of us can't read what we wrote. We don't even know if we spelled the words right. We constantly have to retake it because by nature, we're not supposed to follow a script.
Or
Um,
rules.
our rules. And so it's like, so kind of, we're going to still talk about our paranormal lifestyles because to believe it or not, we do live that every day. But then we're just going to talk about what we talk about all the time. We're just going to let you guys know what Mark and I do on the daily. It's almost like the real world. Oh my God, it is like the world. And we're having a confessional.
Yeah. Oh my God. Remember, dude, did you ever watch The Surreal Life on VH1? It
Yeah,
was
I
like
did.
all these like the reject actors and actresses and like
Yes.
pro wrestler, whatever. Like, I mean, it was a bunch of everybody, but like I loved that show. And I was always like, man, I wish I could be on that show. I mean, I wasn't a celebrity, but I would like totally be on like Celebrity Big Brother. Not celebrity. I'm not. Who do I even think I am? Normal people Big Brother, not even celebrity. Like, fuck you, Mark. You're so stupid. I think of like a big shot. But would you be on Big Brother?
I think I would be on Big Brother. I think I would. You know what? Okay. I had a spiral the other night. Was that last night? I have them quite often, so I don't know which one. But I had one last night, and then I told Mark, I go, you know what? If shit does not work out at my job, this is what's going to happen. We're going to get real nice equipment, and we're going to
A
go and
cameraman.
and if we can't get a cameraman, we're gonna do it ourselves. And we're just gonna do our own shit and walk around and do kind of like a ghost adventure, but way better
for bimbos.
Exactly. And that is what I'm banking on, I think, at the end of the day. And this is I don't know if it's a sad reality or like a brilliant one. That is what I'm banking on, hopefully, because I think that would be great if you and I were in a reality TV show like Big Brother, immediately would be kicked off. Maybe not. I don't know.
Oh, I think they would keep us on because I think they would be like, okay, these people are clearly unhinged and they got something to offer us.
Because I have a bad attitude. You have a bad attitude.
Oh, I would go into that house like with the narrative that I'm the bad guy. I would be the villain of the house. Yeah, and I would be like doing little tricks on everybody. Yeah. And I'd be like, did you hear she said this about you? No, she said that about you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, mix it up. Get some fucking vivacious like energy.
Some fire.
And then be like,
be the fire starter.
Yeah. And they just be like, what are you talking about? I didn't say that. Why would never do that to you?
What do you think I would be? What would my character be?
I think you would be like the one that would console people when like they were having a breakdown. Like somebody is having sex with another roommate and then they confide in you and they're like, oh, and then, so they come to you.
And do you think that I give them bad advice or do you think I give them good advice?
I think it would depend on like the other person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
I think it would too.
So like maybe you would give them like, you know, an outlet and be like, you know, but then if they're a bad person, you could be like, you just give them really bad advice.
Continue to do what you're doing. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, but I support this.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I honestly do. Ramp it up. Since we're doing a newsflash, let's just talk about newsflash is pretty much a mini version of what our new version of Theriptalk is going to be like. We're still going to have callers. We're still going to air the callers. But I think that what we want to talk about on this episode today is past events. Super Bowl. We're going to talk about my broken arm. We're going to talk about, do you guys remember the Pledge of Allegiance when we were children and we had to do that? I cannot get over that for some reason. And isn't that a weird thing that we had to do?
Eventually I stopped saying it.
Yeah, and then you would stand there and then you were just like this and you would make like you're like this.
Do they still do it in school?
I don't know. I haven't been in school like that kind of school.
Who has such long.
Who has a child?
This? Yeah, a child and also
everyone except for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we also think that children are like children living in apartment buildings, no good. Children on airplanes, no good. They should have their own apartment building with children and parents in it. And they should also have an airplane that only has parents and children in it.
So I want to talk about the Super Bowl. I just, I don't know anything about the Super Bowl. I don't know anything about football. I frankly don't give a fuck about it. I think it's like really, I like soccer though. Soccer is like exhilarating. Do you know anything about football?
I know nothing.
I saw like 5 minutes of like a football game, and I turned into a toddler because I couldn't handle it. I was like, this is too much. But anyways, entertainment, halftime show. I'm not up on what's hot in America or the world or anything that's even relevant for the past 7 years. But I will tell you, I know quality. And that halftime show with Weekend was the dopest fucking thing I've ever seen.
It was really good. So I watched it because you told me to watch it, and I love a choir. I love a choir. And go ahead and tell everyone what you told me. It Mark can break it down better than I can because I don't know how to use words right now.
So when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is gonna pull from some really deep like pop culture references, the whole performance. So that whole choir, immediately the thing that I thought of was the choir boys in the Total Eclipse of the Heart video, Bonnie
Turn
Tyler.
around. Every now and then I get a little bit lonesome. Turn around. That song's fucked up in such a good way.
That's because it's Jim Steinman. He wrote Total Eclipse of the Heart, I Need a Hero, I'll Do Anything for Love. It's all coming back to me now. Laser Eyes, choir children, like dopest fucking thing.
That's Laser Eye Choir Children. That's all you need to know, everyone.
Well, and then when you brought up something, you're like, okay, so like all those like choir guys were like sitting in these rows and there was like a cityscape, right?
Yeah.
And what was your observation?
So I noticed, I immediately noticed this. So you have a cityscape, and that's all you see is like all these different buildings, skyscrapers and stuff like that. But at different lights, when the lights would turn off, and like because they were turning on and off, they look like tombstones. They're shaped like tombstones. So it's so like
cute.
It's so good. The whole thing was so good. It was really well put together. And then when he popped out one time and it turned into like a night scene, then you can really see it was like more of a cemetery kind of like landscaping. Is that what it is? Landscape?
Cemetery landscape. Yeah.
Whew, prop. But you had a giant moon, and then it looked.
Do you remember the McDonald's moon guy?
Yeah.
He was scary.
But then you had like all of the city, the skyscrapers turning into tombstones, which would make sense.
Also,
if you think about it.
Well, riddle me this, because I was looking on the internet and some fringe website was like, did The Weeknd, like I guess on their giant LED screen, the word Satan flashed on this like in the Super Bowl, and I was like, fuck yes, this is some major shit.
I didn't see that at all.
Yeah, but it was like a brief second that it does, it just flashes the word Satan. And I'm
like
sure
this
that
is going to be our new thing that we're going to be obsessed with, and we're going to start watching it and picking out more and more details about what happened.
And then this is what people that are like that are conspiracy theorists do. They just sit around and like try to look for stupid clues to like of the Illuminati, but a lot of people didn't like it, and it just makes me question like why people wouldn't have enjoyed that. It was like huge. It was a huge production that The Weeknd put his own money into it, like millions of dollars into it, to make it the best show on the planet. And people were going to be like, no, that wasn't for me. Like, I'm sorry, are you a like connoisseur of pop culture? Of like, do you have some kind of like prestigious taste? Like,
yeah, the majority of the people watching the Super Bowl are dumpsters. So it's like, why would anyone in their fucking right mind that's into cool shit be like, oh yeah, you're right. You know what? I'm picking up what you're putting down. It's like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So check, moving on. Now let's talk about my broken arm. So I work in a COVID factory, and I spend hours in a microscope, and I have nerve damage to my arm. So I've been out for a while because I couldn't move my arm.
There's this thing on Instagram right now where everyone's talking about like, who's my doppelganger? And it's like, oh, I like, and so you like message them and you're like, you look like Shelley Duvall or whoever and I this is how much my friends don't care about me. I put a post up and I was like, who's my doppelganger? Because I wanted to, A, it was a test and y'all failed. B, there's only 3 answers: David Bowie, Tilda Swinton, and Keith Sutherland. So if you weren't going to get any of those right, you were automatically wrong. But nobody even commented. And I felt like alone. I felt very lonely.
Your hair just looks really good. I think it looks so good.
Wait,
Yeah.
look at me. What's this when I like look at you?
You know what I'm looking at? I'm looking at an elfling.
You know what, Jamie? Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna. Well, thank you.
/ heat miser.
Yeah. So, full circle here. The hotline is still going to be open. We're going to be taking calls still. So if you need some advice, if you need some enlightenment that's not going to take advantage of your psyche and your emotional stability, if you just need to talk to somebody, we're here for you. If you have a ghost story, we're here for you. If you have just an embarrassing story, we're definitely here for that.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's you summed it up. You summed it up, you wrapped it up, and you put it out there. A lot of you feel really weird about calling the hotline. Break that fucking bullshit cycle now because it's not needed.
Yeah, like a New Year's resolution, right? Like your resolution is to not be such chicken shit and to call
Yeah,
the
just
hotline.
fucking stop being such a fucking weirdo and call the hotline. You don't have to say your name. No one actually gives a fuck. Just call it. We want to hear your content.
Yeah.
Because we like it and it's funny.
And it's like a little spotlight for you. So when you feel like you're down and out, just remember that the RIP shined a little spotlight on you to make you know
platform.
That's your special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're signing off from Planet Fucking Party. We did do a trip here real quick to let everyone know that there are morons inhabiting this space. So until next time, say la vie.
Bye.